This is Umar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. Well, Saturday night certainly lived up to the hype, exceeded it actually. I thought it was a classic encounter at the O2. Did you see it like that between Parker and Wardley?
Was absolutely brilliant, Umar Ahmed of BoxNation TV. It was absolutely brilliant. Um, that arena, uh, for some reason, gets the best. Maybe it's the supersized York Hall venue because it seems to produce so many great nights. The two men delivered everything on the night. It was drama. There was controversy at the end. A star was born in Fabio Wardley. Joseph Parker gave us all had him 7 rounds to 3 up going into that 11th round. But Fabio Wardley, as I say, a star was born in British sport. Um, Heart, cojones, massive, chin, incredible, fitness, resilience, determination, and at the end, sheer bloody mindedness to want to win the fight. What an incredible story he is for British sport and British boxing. And I just want the public to get behind him now because he deserves a big fight at Wembley Stadium or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Alexander Usyk. It's a fairy tale in prize fighting.
In all your time covering this sport and maybe many other sports that you've been a part of, Gareth, have you seen or do you remember anything like this where really Fabio Wardley should not be at this point where he's fighting for the four belts and the biggest prize in sport, the undisputed heavyweight championship? A guy from a white collar background, but he's there now. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, I think Anthony Joshua is quite a similar case in some ways, given that he went into the, you know, yes, he had an amateur career, but so small, so short. And he emerges with a silver medal at the World Amateur Championships, turns up at a gym and starts boxing when he's 17. Still very late, wins Olympic gold. I think his story is quite similar. But Fabio, from headhunter in an office to headhunter in a ring, literally, is, I don't think, we don't see these kind of stories because he has natural propensity to fight. He's also brilliantly brought up by his mum, Shawnee Lee. So he's got everything. He's got everything to be a crossover star. No, I think it's a very, very rare case. He always had athletic ability. Obviously, he was on the books at Ipswich Town as a centre forward when he was in his early teens. He's got natural shape and athleticism when he boxes. He's got his own style. No, as I say, it's an incredible story, and he fully deserves all the plaudits. But he's got something deep inside himself to want to achieve this. He's built for it, isn't he?
Yeah, and he hasn't had, well, I don't know the full Fabio Wardley story, but I'm very confident in saying he's not like had a rough upbringing or
No.
like a troubled past or anything. So it does show that you can have that dog in you and that fighting spirit, even if you haven't gone through a lot of things that most fighters do go through, if you get
I
me.
may have sent you the piece. I did a massive profile piece on his life last week. Did I send it to you or not?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Um, his mum, Shani Lee, brought him up, and he explained to me there in that piece that growing up, yeah, he said I had the odd scrap growing up. He said, but if anything, I was the one always breaking up fights when I was out and about with my mates. So he said it's not like I was ever needing to look for a fight, was in loads of fights. He literally found out in those 4 white collar fights, and in the gym that he could do it. He also has really worked at it for 10 years. I mean, Hodgins, his coach from, who was the guy everyone sees on the pads from Suffolk Punch, was saying to me the day he walked into the gym ten years ago, he said, oh, I want to try this out. And Fabio said, I just wanted to try something really competitive one on one. Rob said, I looked around, he was already in the gym with gloves on with the amateurs, just boxing them. So some of these stories become exaggerated and become part of boxing folklore. But I think this is genuine. He literally went to try it as an experiment, and it worked for him. But from there on in, he's obviously pushed himself to go into lots of camps with heavyweight boxers and box them. Listen, like you said about the dog in him, he's got an incredible chin. Joseph Parker has got a big punch. He took all Joseph Parker's punches and did that and just kept coming, didn't he? I mean, he almost got Joe out of there in the second round, at the end of the second round, if Howard Foster hadn't stopped the contest at the time for the mouth shield, the gum shield having come out. So it's an incredible story. It really is incredible.
I guess the golden question is, or the $1 million question, should the fight have been stopped? I thought the stoppage was fine. What did you think?
Well, I was doing the broadcast for Talk Sport at the time, and a very good vantage point. It was just over here where Howard Foster slid between them, didn't he? It's like he went very gently between them as well, didn't he? In a pause in the action. At the time, I think my immediate reaction was, oh, that was a little bit premature. But when I watched, obviously I have the benefit of a monitor in front of me. I saw the highlights straight away. There were about 40 punches, and Joe had thrown one back. Yes, it could have carried on, but there was 1 minute 6 seconds left in the round, and I think Joe wasn't taking a knee. He wasn't trying to hold. He'd sagged back on the ropes 2 or 3 times. Yes, there were punches missing. They weren't all landing, but I'm of the school of thought always that I'd rather see a fight stop 10 seconds early than 10 seconds too late. Um, and I think at that point, Joe had given everything and he hadn't broken Fabio's heart. And I think Fabio was going to put him down and stop him.
I see actually a lot of like Lou DiBella, Ariel Helwani, other people in America have reacted more strongly to it, saying it, they thought it was really early. I've kind of seen that people in America have thought it was really early. Compared to UK, it's been a mixed review.
Well, that's heavyweight envy, isn't it, from over there? Because they haven't got one. They haven't got maybe if you put um, they haven't got a top heavyweight. They haven't got heavyweight in the top 10 right now, have they? So
No, actually.
no, they haven't. No, Usyk, Fury. I've got Wardley at 3, by the way. Now Parker Caballel at 4, Parker 5. I've got Moses at 6. Dubois at 7, Hergovich at 8, Zhang at 9, Bacoli at 10. Anthony Joshua's outside that because he hasn't fought for a year.
Noah Jagba, no?
No, no. That's my 10. Bacoli's at 10.
Okay.
Um, but Jagba is in and around there as well, obviously with the likes of Lawrence Okoli, um, as well, just outside that top 10. I think when you're there and when you have witnessed the brutal, bloody battle that it was, when you've felt the punches up close, I think Ariel Helwani's looking for clicks anyway. So because he takes that posturing view, and Lou, if I'm convinced if Lou had been there ringside, he probably would have said, because when you're there, it's different, isn't it? Because you've lived the whole battle. It was quite extraordinary that they both managed to go like they did for so long. There wasn't a pause in the action. In
No,
the
apart from
entire
the gum shield moment, yeah.
Yeah, apart from the gum shield moment, yeah, which probably shouldn't have been a pause in the action. Um, but the it's people. Look, it's divided opinion. I'll say the same thing. I would rather. I think Joseph Parker and his team should have made more of a case afterwards, because if Alexander Usyk decides to vacate that WBO title, I could happily see a rematch, and they should have been fighting their corner, because there was a gap in the door for them to fight their corner a little more, which they could have done. Um, Parker said I wasn't that hurt that I couldn't have gone on, but I think they should have made more of it. I do hope Fabio does fight Alexander Usyk, by the way, and I want that to be at Wembley or Tottenham. I think we should get behind him. He's a new British sporting star, and I'd like to see the public get fully behind him. I'd like to see him on chat shows. I'd like to see him out there. He's a very eloquent young man, and he can fit on any platform at any time in any shape or form, in my view.
Can he beat Alexander Usyk, Gareth?
Yeah, I think he can. He could. I don't think he does. I mean, I picked Parker to win this one with the caveat that Fabio could knock him out, or stop him. And I think you have to say the same with Alexander Usyk. Usyk will find different angles. Joe couldn't find Fabio when he was ducking down. Joe's right hand was coming over the top and missing, where he might have, which Usyk will do. He'll look at uppercuts, I think, and his left hand will be more effective against the way that Fabio, unorthodox in an unorthodox manner, ducks away from punches. He's got his own style, but Usyk will see two things. It'll be presented to him. He's been deafeningly silent, by the way, since Saturday night, which is a bit disarming, a bit alarming, given that he was saying that he's going to box till he's 41 last week and that he'll fight the winner. It'll be presented to him in terms of commercial viability here on whether that fight does work. And it does need a big stadium fight for it to work. And we need Fabio to be out there in the public domain. Or Usyk will go, do you know what? I'm going to have to go 12 hard rounds with this bugger. He's going to keep on coming. I'm going to have to really fight him. I'm going to vacate the title. We know that Usyk's being pursued by Tyson Fury for a third fight. That became more prevalent on Saturday night as well. If you spoke to Fury and his team and his camp behind the scenes, that he really is after that third fight with Usyk. Right now, my gut feeling is that if they can present the right commercial deal, I think he'll take it. But Usyk's going to be looking at it as a hard fight, but I think he wins it.
Okay. So anything you'd like to add before we close off, Gareth?
Yeah, if you look at all the heavyweights that were there on Saturday night, Tyson Fury, great to see him. Fabio Wardley and Joseph Parker in the ring. Ajit Kabayel there, of course. Moses Itauma, Daniel Dubois, Lawrence Okoli, Jarrell Miller there, Derek Chisora and Dillian White. Looks like they'll fight on the 20th of December now. You'll know more than me, maybe. I hope they could come to London for it, but maybe it'll still be in Manchester. It looks like Moses is moving to next year. I spoke to Frank Warren yesterday, and they might let that play out now between Kubrat Pulev and Murat Gassiev for the WBA regular title. And it looks like Moses will fight the winner next year, or if not for that belt. I think there was a big missing piece in the jigsaw on Saturday night, and I was saddened by it. I think Anthony Joshua should have been there because it was a celebration of an era of British heavyweight boxing on Saturday night, wasn't it, in many ways, with all those heavyweights there. And I think it would have been nice to see him there because I think he belonged. And I think there was a hole without Anthony Joshua there. It was missing. And I think people would have celebrated him being there if he'd come.
Yeah, it's not really his thing to attend, though, is it?
No, but everyone else in the Brotherhood was there from the
Yeah, I
whole.
guess, but there were Frank's heavyweights were there because I guess they were invited to come and get all on stage and whatever.
Yeah, but this is from my heart.
Yeah, he doesn't really come to things though, does he?
No, no.
Unless he's really been invited by His Excellency or he might fight the winner, etc. He doesn't really attend things.
But it felt like he was missing from it. And I'd love to have seen him there. That's all I'm saying, because it was a night when we celebrated what has been an amazing era in British heavyweight boxing. And I've said it a couple of times now in the last week. And that's why I said that Fury's chasing Usyk 3. I spoke to Shane Fury about it, and I've spoken. You'll speak to Spencer Brown behind the scenes. Fury really does want the third Usyk fight. He's in his mind that the ship that contains the gold bullion between Fury and Joshua is beginning to sail, in my view. That's a fight that it should be made. It bookends an era, but I think it's starting to disappear.
Okay. Well, hopefully you don't disappear anytime soon, Gareth. I'm going to let you go for now. Okay.
Great to see you, as always. It was great to see you on Saturday night, and long may the heavyweights reign. And we really do in the UK and Eastern Europe control the heavyweight scene. I've done an interview with Oscar De La Hoya that's out, where I'm saying to him, "What would you do in America if you had a magic wand about the heavyweight scene?" Because they're sadly lacking. They haven't got heavyweight in the top 10 right now. And America must have some great heavyweights, potential heavyweights. Look at what Fabio Wardley achieved. You know,
Yeah.
that should be a lesson to what could happen in America with some of the big guys.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Gareth, thank you very much for your time. And I'll see you in Manchester for Boatsy Parker.
Indeed.